Yeah, absolutely. That was really great conversation we had there, and that was a lot of fun.
That remains.
Space Case is joining us here. She was very patient, and then she actually got here super early, and that was awesome. So, welcome, Space. How you doing?
Oh, I'm okay.
Oh.
Thank you so much for sticking around and also helping us test our audio. We should be upfront and say you've been waiting the whole time for your turn, and I really appreciate it, especially knowing you got to get off to work in a little bit.
Yeah.
So let me start off fresh with you. How, you are a swinger. What are your main
Yes,
interests,
they're also swingers.
and are you married?
Yes.
Okay, you're married. Your husband and you both swing together. What is your swinging situation like?
So we're a same room couple,
Okay,
and I'm bisexual. He's straight. I, in addition to that, I also have a threesome kink that I came into the relationship with.
okay.
So,
Is that what
and
got you started
and-
with your husband in the swinging? You wanted more in the bedroom, not more sexually, but more people.
yeah, yeah, that was that was one of the things. It was he would say, "Oh, well, you'd probably miss being with women," and I'd say, "Well, I miss having threesomes too. Monogamy is kind of hard for me because I miss doing that."
Okay. Did he know that when you were dating before you got married, or was this like all right, I've done one guy at one time enough. Let's talk about this.
He knew that I had a lot of sexual experience. He knew that I had done threesomes. I don't think he knew the extent of it.
Okay. And he was. How did the conversation go? Do we have the video from Discord? Oh, I'm looking at Discord. Didn't see it. Sorry. Uh, um. So, how did that conversation go from you miss it to we're gonna try it on Friday night?
It just kind of evolved to that, and he kind of didn't really know if he could handle seeing me with another guy. And
Yeah.
I'm also a bit of an exhibitionist, and I want to show off having sex with other people. That's one of the things that I also enjoy. And he knew that I really liked it, and he was just willing to, try it. The conversation was first basically that since we didn't know if he'd be able to do threesomes, was just that I wanted to have sex with other people. And we just kind of went with kind of what he was comfortable with, and he was willing to try it for me, and it was okay. And so we did it more, and yeah, that's in addition to couple swaps and orgies, and also I do love gangbangs, so I do that too.
A question about the gangbangs.
Uh,
Is there a certain level of soreness after a certain time?
I'm usually not too sore. Sometimes I feel it a little bit. Yeah. I feel a little sore sometimes, but not bad.
Okay,
It's
is
kind of a
that a
good sore.
that's
Like
exactly what I
like
was gonna
after you
ask.
work out and you feel a little sore, it's kind of like that.
Okay. Um, so what rules did you 2 have or do you have now that helped you, explore this further and open it up more to more people or more, encounters?
Well,
Like,
we use
did you start off
condoms.
with he's like no anal or however whatever rules that you had to discuss and then maybe change later or agreements? I like
That was
that term.
that was one of the agreements that did end up getting changed because originally he kind of wanted no, and the guys really like anal, and I like anal. So then it was kind of uh, we kind of have to ask him and kind of clear it to do anal.
Okay.
So and
Hey,
he kind of reminded me that uh, I kind of like to do it all the time. So
That's okay. Don't be shy here. We are positive about whatever makes you happy. And real quick, I wanted to mention to any of our listeners out there, we have traditionally experienced a network loss about 11 o'clock at night Eastern. So in a couple minutes, if we pop off, we will be right back on. So keep
okay.
watching. We'll be right back. I've talked with
It's
Verizon
like a
about this
running
today.
gag at this point.
Yeah. So back to you, Space Case. How do you find the people to join you in the multiple partner events? I don't know what to call it. It is swinging. I think threesomes or gangbangs. And all right, let's start with this. When does a threesome become a gangbang? What's the number? Is it 4 is a gangbang or
It's a really good
Um,
question.
I call them gangbangs if it's 3 or more, and a lot of time they usually are just 3.
okay?
So, no, that's not maybe like your traditional porn gangbang, but I kinda don't know what else to call it, a hat trick maybe?
Do they throw hats when they're done? Because that would be amazing. Bring your own hat
3.
night. You can call it whatever you want, and I don't care what porn calls it. Honestly, I think porn is a great idea generator, but if people actually had sex like that, nobody would ever come. I think. Um,
Right.
so, what was my original question on this? How do you find your extra partners? Is there like a regular group of friends now, or
Now we've been doing it for a few years,
okay?
and I if we like somebody, we'll invite them back, like, if they have good banners and kinda know what they're doing, if they're good team players, we'll invite them back. Um, I can
Sure.
find you can find them anywhere. Uh, Lately, I've been utilizing Reddit. I used to use a app called Whisper to find people, and I also find people on Kick.
Now, when you
So
when you meet
like,
people online, do you meet them first for a non-sexual encounter, like a lunch? I hear is a big, let's do dinner, let's talk, and then we'll see if we're both interested for more.
sometimes lately I've been doing, but in the beginning we would just kind of jump right into it,
Okay.
like literally meet and just jump into a threesome.
Did Was there something that changed that made you want to go slower? Was there like somebody who obviously needed to shower, or was really bizarre and you weren't into it, or is there a
No,
story there? How about that?
there's not really much of a story other than I think maybe in some way I felt like it was a little bit maybe degrading to the guys to just kind of jump in and just basically use them like sex toys. And I thought it would be more humanizing to kind of meet them first on a level of talking to them like people
That is
and kind of
honestly Yeah, that's one of the sweetest things I've heard said on this show, actually. That you cared that they weren't just treated like a piece of meat. That's amazing. I love it.
right.
Yeah, I didn't expect to go there tonight. So thank you. What would you say is something that you haven't done yet that you would like to do? And then I want to cut into well, I'll cut to that. What's something that you still have yet to want to do? Um, or are you still fine exploring where you're exploring?
Sometimes I do things that I didn't even know I wanted to do, like the time that we were in an orgy and there was breast milk involved. I had no idea I had an interest in that until it happened.
And now it's an
But I
ongoing
do,
interest?
maybe.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Again, no shame here. If you're into it, that's awesome.
It was fun. But one of my goals is I want to be able to say I've had 5 guys.
Okay.
Nice.
Because of the hamburger chain.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I paused. I was like, "That's wonderful," but I didn't know if anybody else
Yeah.
got that.
Yeah.
I
Yep. I
I
wanna
didn't catch
I
it,
wanna be
but
able to say I have 5 guys.
if you film that, you have to use all the secret animal or secret recipe or menu items like animal style, double double, uh, just write
I
out the
just wanna
acts.
go all the way.
That's a fantastic. I love that. That's amazing.
That's
So my next question, and I don't know if I should even go off from that. My next question is, your husband, has he been able to do things that he wanted to? Has this opened up him to explore fantasies as well?
Oh, I think so.
Okay.
Um,
You don't
yeah,
have to go
I
into it.
think,
He's not here for a reason, and I was just curious.
he's here. He's just listening.
Okay,
He's kinda shy.
that's okay.
So, yeah, he's been able to do things with other women, and, um, the threesomes was my idea. The gangbangs were his idea to
Uh,
begin with.
okay, okay. So he was like nervous about the one guy, but then after a while, he's like more.
Um, yeah, I think it was just kind of, "Hey, I think Space would like to try this. Let's try and do this and see her if she really has that ultimate pleasure and, kind of maybe act out something that he maybe saw in porn." And I think he kinda, likes to be in charge in a way, during
Okay,
that.
like a director. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, of course, he also joins in, so, that's kind of different from, maybe some more traditional cum dump style gangbangs is 'cause, the the director kinda the night they call it, doesn't join in. They just
Okay,
ensure woman's safety, and in my case, it's kind of a different situation 'cause we use guys I know, um, and everybody participates, and they're all looking out for my safety. I trust these guys typically, and I
right.
know them
It's all
usually.
about fun, and you can't have fun if you're terrified that somebody's gonna snap
Right,
or
and
yeah,
they're not.
not follow the
I
rules.
trust. So I think he's been able to, enjoy some fantasies of orgies and, just we swap when we do more swinger stuff, like couple swaps and that sort of thing. I feel like he really, gets to indulge more fantasies.
Okay. Yeah, um I read your but I like to go into these interviews without knowing too much. So I looked over your profile just to see what kind of things you would be interested in, where we're going and where I could kind of lead the conversation. So I didn't dig in too much, but I didn't see too much of looking for couples or for him. So I'm glad you got into this and we got to explore it because when you're a couple, I think a large part of it is that both of you have to get something out of it, and it has to be
Mhm,
positive for everybody, or it's just not going to work. So when I
mhm,
hear of a couple where it's usually the husband, hey, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, and she's thinking about caving in, that almost always leads to a bad time. And I like
mhm.
the fact that I might not have read the full history of what you guys are into and looking for, but that in talking to you, it's there. So that's amazing.
Yeah, oh, yeah, I could say maybe he's kind of the silent partner, but he definitely enjoys it and participates, and yeah, so it's not, I mean, it was my idea and I'm kind of the one driving it, but he's definitely along for the ride and enjoys participating.
So
Yeah, so
okay.
even last night, I was vetting a new guy or we were vetting a new guy for potential. And while I was talking to the guy, he was talking to a bunch of ladies and just really seemed to be enjoying himself. And I could just kind of watch him while the new guy just kind of chatted with me. And I enjoyed that too.
Nice. Um, I did want to. We're gonna in a question or two add to the conversation. I know you got to get and go to work. You could stick around
Uh-huh,
as long as you want, but I did want to ask you before we jump to our next guest, who is the moderator of the sub where you saw my post looking for people to talk to. We're gonna get to him in a little bit. Zaz, if you want to give him the number and tell him to feel free to
Already
call in
done.
when you're ready. You rock. I just wanted to make sure since we're not used to
Oh yeah,
bouncing around.
yeah. Hey, by
What
the
I
way,
want.
I just want to point this out just to triple the cover. This is probably the least I've ever spoken one of our episodes. I'm just loving these conversations today. So don't take my silences.
No, I don't. I want to ask you though. Feel free to weigh in, Josh, too, and then I'll ask you, Space, the question I had. Um, are you guys finding this educational? Like, is there something you want to ask on top of all the new information you're getting?
No,
Uh,
I'm finding it
Oh,
very interesting, but I've got nothing to add at this
I
time.
would,
But no,
you know, it
it's
was
very interesting.
yeah. There was like one bit it was talking about meeting other people and stuff like that. It was just like, is there any way to identify like red flags for anything like that in the future for people? To keep you guys safe. Because as much as the excitement is to meet somebody new, right? That whole the chase, I guess, is a weird way of calling it, but it is that's
Fair.
part of the excitement.
I enjoy the
And
chase.
right, exactly. But is there like a way to go like not this one, like just hey, no, just something to protect you guys. I didn't know if there was any tools implemented for that. Anything you want to
Sky
make
says,
anybody
oh,
aware?
Sky says that's my job. He says he says
That's
I'm
awesome.
notoriously bad at recognizing red flags.
Yeah,
Oh, he's nodding. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, if my wife
Yeah.
said something like that, I would immediately point towards me as proof.
Uh,
So
yeah.
along those lines, because this is a relationship show, I want to go to the same question I asked the previous couple. What agreements or rules or things do you guys live by that lets this swinging lifestyle, again, I still hate the word, that lets you two enjoy swinging?
Hmm.
I mean, obviously that there's like always be honest and
Yeah. Honest. Like,
over communicate, but are there things like, I'm just trying to think, what would you tell a new couple that they absolutely needed to know and discuss before their first time?
just you can make sure that they're on the same page, and I guess be willing to slow down.
Okay.
Um,
Do you guys have a veto rule, like where either of you say no at any moment it stops, or is that just understood? You guys have
we
been
do.
together long enough to just know.
Um, well, I tend to like to forge ahead.
Okay.
I get really into it, and I'm a very sexual, horny person, and so I tend to try to just forge ahead. But if either one of us were to say no, if I were to ever feel uncomfortable, which I typically don't, but if I were, then I know that we could stop at any time. And he can stop at any time. And yeah, I
Yeah.
think
So
now that we did a gangbang, I fell off the bed, and
sorry if that's not
all the
funny.
guys were
It
so
sounds
worried.
funny.
They rushed in. And, are you okay? Are you okay?
How do you explain that injury at work? Can't come in today. So, speaking of work, I know you do have to go soon. Feel free to hang out. I want to move on to what I forget the name.
Hello, are we?
Yeah. So
Is it Flow Cascade?
yeah, thank you, Flow Cascade. It just left my mind. I'm trying to not to look at my screen. I want to, obviously give the person I'm interviewing my full attention. Um, Feel free to stick around. We're gonna switch over and answer that call if we haven't already.
Okay.
Do we have a call? We'll keep talking to you till we get the call.
Oh,
Um,
all right.
and which is unless you have to go, then I don't want to keep you. I really appreciate your time and talking to us, and I
Yeah, those are
love
really fun. Yeah.
that you approach swinging in a different way than the last couple, and it makes me want to delve in and talk to even more couples. But I do want to come back to you at some point. So if we could schedule another call when we get back on the topic, I would love to talk with you some more.
Okay.
Awesome. And thank you for your time. Thank your husband for your time and his time.
Thanks, Space.
And
He's waiting. He's
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it. Also, I gotta say it's nice to see someone's face. I understand why people don't show their faces, and it's just good to see a face and put more of a human on this. So thank you for being that open with us and your
I'm
life.
not too worried about being outed at this point. Um, maybe when we were new, but been doing this for a long time, and I don't think anyone cares.
Yeah,
I don't want to use my real name
sure.
so that I don't want them to stalk me or anything, but I don't really care if they know what I look like.
Well, you look amazing. So thank you for being on camera with us.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll probably have this edited up and ready to go tomorrow in a slightly cleaner form. I don't think I have a lot of editing to do. Everything's went pretty smoothly and not a lot of dead air. So, do you have anything before we go that you? Oh, we lost the video. Oh, it blinked off for a second on my screen, and I saw it in the corner of my eye. Do you have anything that you want to get straight with the world who has an idea of what swinging is, or threesomes, or gangbangs, just to say, please stop thinking this way? If not, that's okay.
Yeah,
I was just curious.
you can make it how you want. It doesn't I think a lot of women are worried about doing it. They don't want to be hurt. They see porn and it looks so violent, and maybe it doesn't look like the girl's having such a good time. And it doesn't need to be like that. You can make it however you want. And this first few guys that reach out and they're so aggressive, and you think, oh, I don't want that. Well, you don't have to pick that. You can
Yeah,
take your time and you can be picky. And there's really wonderful guys out there. They're not all just these raging, horny dick monsters. There's, you don't have to settle for the first ones that come along either.
right, right. I love your passion in this, and I think women definitely do need to hear it more. That they can have it the way they want, and I also like your take
Yeah,
on porn because modern porn is just getting more and more. I don't know. I want to use the word violent, but in a lot of cases, a lot of the modern stuff is the guy's just being a douchebag to the woman
yeah,
who's just trying to have a good time, and I don't enjoy that myself, and I'm not sure where it came from or why it started becoming as popular as it is. Uh, but there we are. I think your message is great. Women can get what they want.
yeah. You don't have to settle for the first dick pic that comes along. Well, I don't do dick pics, but uh,
Yeah, yeah. I think at one
and
point, they're just a dick.
yeah, yeah. And like I mentioned earlier, part of my recent just trying to grow as a human is trying to meet them on a level of being humans instead of just playthings. And it
I
was
I was really honestly blown away by your comments earlier about how you wanted the guys to not feel used, and that's something I don't think I've really heard anywhere with any sincerity, and you definitely were.
oh yeah. I respect and appreciate them as human beings, and it's something that they want to do too. A lot of guys fantasize about participating in that sort of thing. Um, they have a lot of them have a really hard time sealing the deal and making it a reality, but they fantasize about it, and it's their chance to live that fantasy too if that's what they want. And we don't have to be friends. We can take it to whatever level they want. If they just want to, there's one guy that we call Come and Go Joe. He just comes and goes.
Is his name Joe?
It is.
Well, I'm
And
glad.
actually, I saw him for the first time with clothes on in 6 years the other day.
Hey, who are you? You
My
look
husband had
familiar.
no idea who he was because we ran into him socially, and I was like, Joe,
Sorry.
it's Joe. We've known him for many years now.
Wait, come and go, Joe? Yeah.
Yeah. Come and go, Joe. Yeah.
That's
Oh.
excellent.
So yeah, he's been one of our repeats.
All
And
right.
yeah, we
Right.
have been doing this for a while now. So I think most of the kinks have either been worked out or expanded on.
Oh, that's amazing. So I'm going to let you go. I want to thank you absolutely for your time. I hope you'll hear from us again. I'm putting you on that special list of people that I could probably talk to for hours to get more and more stuff and find out more about you. So, again, thank you for responding. Thank you for calling in. Thank you for everything. I hope you have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
See ya.
Have a good one.